Okay.
Share your screen, close.
Hmm?
Are you live? There we go. Should I hit this one too? We got it.
This is real. This is real. Hello. It's a fuzzy babe here. So we are live. Turn it so we can see you better. So.
Girl.
The baby is fussy today. She's very fussy, yes. It's okay. It's okay. So how are we all feeling?
Stand. Probably like the baby.
Right?
Should I move the chair?
Sure, I'll just stand for now.
This is how mothers have to do it. What's up, y'all?
She just passed out.
That's how I wish I could be right now.
It took us like 2 hours to set this up because she was so fussy. That's what it's like. Well,
Hey.
America has spoken, huh?
Yeah, they have.
Oh, hey guys. So how is everyone feeling today?
It's November 6th. We just put out a little video yesterday about remember the 5th of November, and it's already over. We were talking about the word, like, just even with setting up this little setup we have, and the feeling of being defeated. But what do you feel like helps overcome that feeling of defeat? And not that I was, because I wasn't personally invested in either person winning or losing. So,
well, yeah, I mean, the mood is very sad right now with a lot of people, but then the other side is celebrating, so it's kind of weird.
right.
A weird situation because that's a lot of people who voted to elect Trump president this time.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about him winning the popular vote. Mm-hmm.
And I see that there's a lot of videos of people saying, well, look how many, bad people we have in the country, illiterate people and whatnot. And I just, again, coming back to the fact that I know people who actually voted for him personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the reasons, and the reasons that they had were all, related to whatever they needed, their own needs. And and those are not selfish people, but it's like, or whatever values they were aligning with. I don't know. I don't really feel defeated, I guess. I feel more of, well, I'm tired because this baby is teething, but I'm just a little sad.
Mm-hmm.
But I also,
the word that comes to mind is like somber.
Somber, yeah, it's a somber road.
Yeah.
For sure. But I think also like the fear is amplified too. Like there's a lot of fear right now between, one being like ban abortion. Like I see people post how they, they're like saying sorry to all the women and to the daughters, but
have you watched The Handmaid's Tale? Or like,
I haven't
read it.
I know of it, and I've read the description, and I started reading it, but I didn't really get into it as much.
I couldn't really. I mean, I think I started the book and I did watch like maybe the first season or something. But the reason I ask about it is because that's like what people are saying, like is like the agenda of, with the whole access to abortion, and how it's like the goal is to control women's birth and their bodies. And the book or the show is about like basically humans get to the point where only certain women can even conceive.
Yeah.
And then they're like basically like slaves. And I feel like I blocked out a lot of that show because it was just like
too much.
Yeah, it was too much for me.
Well, maybe that's why I didn't really get into it either. But again, it's just going back to the visions. Is like, yes, you can just kind of say that somebody is controlling your body, but they can't.
Right.
If you know how to resist that. And I think that's kind of where all this knowledge that women have and had for centuries. I mean, I really hope that it doesn't come to that. I told you, you know, a few months back, Trump posted on Twitter or whatever this platform now, it's X, that all caps, this old women post, that he said, I never intended to ban abortion on a federal level and for people like life-threatening, and just like basically trying to reassure those people to like, that he's not going to pursue it in that like extreme form. And I think it should never, obviously we're like don't bring us to the dark ages. Like, do you really want women to go in the basement and get an abortion somewhere like in unsanitary conditions? Because women are gonna keep doing that. It's like they have been doing that for centuries.
Yeah, I mean, abortion is as old as birth. That's the reality. Just like miscarriage, just like even C-sections in a way, like they've been cutting babies out. You know, like that's happened. Just wasn't with anesthesia. I guess my thought about the abortion ban or like the fear of one, I just think that like things happen even with who, you know, won the election yesterday. It's like really things all happen the way that they've already been written. And it's like our collective karma, I feel. And it's just going to, I mean, I'll keep talking about sovereignty. Hey, what's up? We keep talking about sovereignty, and I'm trying to wave at you. Somebody wants to come on our live.
She's so. Oh yeah, let's see. Who is that? Yes.
Hello. I'll just finish up my thought, but I was just gonna say that I feel like if we keep focusing on sovereignty, even when it comes to birth, there's so much that we can control before it even like gets to pregnancy, before, you know, like pregnancy happens, I should say. And I'll push accept. Hi, sister.
Hey. If you want to join, just give us a second because we have somebody right now who is joining. Deborah, are you there?
Push that. Push that again.
I did.
I don't know why it's not working. But yeah, I just want to, I mean, and I'm a birth worker myself. And
let's see,
I know that
just invited you. Maybe you can do it on your end.
Natural family planning is also a thing that women have been doing since the beginning of time. Syncing up with each other, you know, and obviously too, there was way more space for women's cycles and like them being able to take that time, and the way that the world is set up, it's just, it doesn't make space for the rest women need after birth or during their menstrual cycle or any, like it's not made for us. And I think that that's like when people talk about like patriarchy, it's like it hits us at every level, including like the world or even the work week. It's like that's not even made to, you know, it shouldn't have to be that women have to like wear tampons or like whatever, you know, just to be able to like go do like act like they're not bleeding or like act like it doesn't affect them like physically and mentally. And like every month, like we go through these changes, and instead of like the world matching us, we have to try and like match the men who like don't bleed or
Right.
like they basically, yeah. And then it's like after you have a baby, it just breaks my heart because like I've stayed with all of my children for years after they were born. I never sent them to daycare or anything. And so when I hear about women that have to like go back to work after 6 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever, I'm just like, that's not even.
Well, I run my own business. You know, I answer emails.
Yes.
The next day after I give birth.
But you're a boss, babe. So.
Oh, thanks. Oh, here she is, Hello. Deborah. Hello. Oh, it's so good to see you.
Yeah. Who's that little one next to you or in your arm?
This is my latest baby, Esmanor. She's 5 months old.
Hey, y'all.
She was born in May.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you. How are you feeling today?
Oh, God. Okay. Not. I'm aghast, but I'm also like reconsidering who lives around me. And what happened. I don't know. I think that if the economy, if it had been cheaper, prices have gone down, it would have been a different election.
Yeah.
I think it was simple. I don't think there's a big philosophy. I don't think it's.
No.
I don't think. I have no idea, but I think it's simple.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying, that I have met actually over the summer a lot of Trump supporters and wonderful people, really nice, you know, family people, simple folks, not like, you know, billionaires or any of that. And I think they just wanted to change. They just wanted to like get out of this desperate situation that a lot of people with families found themselves in over the last couple of years, where literally some families weren't able to afford food. And then like on the other spectrum, there are people who had way more, you know, so I think that's kind of where things got pushed over the edge.
Yeah, but you know, the most amazing thing is that the man who's a billionaire who doesn't pay his bills has the following.
Yes.
Who say they can't pay their bills either.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe they think they're going to get with it the way he does.
Yes. I was really frustrated with his choices too, because we had that in the video yesterday. We actually covered him to, I don't know if you see the latest animation called The Wish. And there was a king who like told, oh, give me your wishes and I'll make them come true. And then said, basically, I'm just going to pick the wishes I think are worth, you know, granting. And I feel like that about him, Elon Musk, right now, because it's exactly kind of what he did. He started as this, you know, people's person where, you know, we're going to go to space, and now it's like.
He pushed, Tesla didn't begin with him. He pushed the designers out.
Yeah, so we heard.
Investor. And then he became the proselytizer. No, the guy, he and Trump are so alike. They're carnival guys. They know how to sell a product. When I was a child, there was all these infomercials on TV.
Yeah.
Popias. You probably don't remember Popia. He had all these different little gadgets, inventions. It was just selling oh, you run out of time if you don't get your bid in now. It's we're such suckers.
Well, yes, it's very true. I think that and that's kind of what we've been talking about in the last video that we did yesterday. Because at this time, I mean, it's almost like pushing people to just take charge of their own sovereignty, which is what we're trying to be like, okay, let's not despair, let's prosper.
Right.
Well, I think you're absolutely onto something. I think there's always something going on that you can capitalize on. And whether it is, I mean, right now it's how to get funding. Plain and simple. Things that get funded, things that, can be self-sufficient. You'll survive.
Yeah.
But not prosper.
Yes.
So,
right. Well, and yeah, so I guess what would be your 4 years outside of the game of politics, outside of that community, because again, like I said, those are the real people that we have to be, they're our neighbors. There are people who have families. We just have to remember they're not bad people. Like, that is something that I think we're facing right now. It's just still like, how do we get outside?
Pool our resources. I almost want I have like blocks of solar cells that we all run off of, and these great community ideas.
Right. Well, we're gonna invite you to our compound then, Deborah.
Right. Perfect.
That's cool.
Maybe that's the key. Maybe that is the key. They can't take away the man, whoever ubiquitous they is. Sort of can't take away what you don't have.
Right.
And if you don't have much, they are powerless. Theater X, the board of directors, was always upset with us. Not really upset, but sort of. Theater X was a nonprofit, and every time we ran out of money, we'd fire ourselves and go on unemployment. And just continue like nothing happened. We sort of demanded our own payment.
Wow,
and the board of directors was always a little miffed because they had nothing control over us. So that's the idea. Just have nothing, and then they can't take it.
Well, thanks, Deborah. We appreciate you for joining. Hang in there. We're gonna be supporting each other as we go here.
This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This is really wonderful. What a good thing to do. Analyzing this situation, trying to kind of, he was talking about the reasons why he thinks this it would be unfair to blame everything on Muslim Arab voters voting for third parties or not. The issue is much deeper. The issue is the candidate, the Democratic candidate herself this time, where she did not take a particularly unique stance, where she did not appeal to the regular people like Trump did, where she only spoke about issues which are, in many ways, are considered as elitist issues. Like when we talk about feminism, for example, feminism is obviously something that feminism itself, the need for us to have this, for example, there's no such term as masculism, for example, like men in this patriarchal world, in this society, there's no need for a movement that would stand up and, fight for agency for men, right? And so, but you cannot just you cannot base your campaign on just abortion ban.
Yes.
You cannot just make it about that.
women, Ahmed was saying that women's rights, of course, are important. Of course, they're something that every candidate should be expected to work on. But at the same time, women's rights tied to economy, are tied to the well-being of the community, are tied to all other issues that the country, that the leader of the country should be actively dealing with. So you cannot just basically make your entire campaign just about that, at the same time committing and sponsoring genocide. And so the
3-hour interviews. I watched interviews with Kamala. Well, there actually wasn't that many. You didn't really do that many, but how they appeal to me and like what they say, what their eyes look like when they talk about something, how genuine they are, and I think like it's mind-boggling that she even like considered, because and how many party did everything to just like, I'm obviously it's a game of election, but still like she's very intelligent, she's very smart, and like her energy is a lot more nurturing, is a lot more caring, it's just, and she's Jewish. Like what, so it's like all these things that where and she was actively speaking against the genocide, and I'm sure she wouldn't, she would also like kind of find a way to support Israel through the times, like, right, like it would she
more and kind of start storming, buildings and stuff, or they just need to respond to the play differently. Solutions, I feel like number one thing is responsibility. How do we show up for our community? How often do we have dialogues with people who are not like us? Solutions that would work for everyone, maybe with time, cumulatively, not immediately, but just like with third party vote this time. I mean, the surge is unquestionable.
Yes.
Well, and people will say that Jill Stein, people will say that Jill Stein like doesn't do much like in the 4 years, before the election. And I feel like, as I voted third party myself, and I feel like that's a good challenge, like you're saying, to think about the solutions. And so I'm like, I need to stay actively engaged in politics, or in even knowing about when the next election for mayor is, or whatever, like at the local level, all the way up to like every 4 years. Now we see it actually goes by pretty fast. And we have to be engaged with, let's say, Jill Stein or like the Socialist Party or whatever. Like, we have to all keep engaging with them, as well as expecting them to keep engaging with us, so that the next election, we have way more, I guess, support and like understanding with the third party.
Well, and that's like you said, we don't want, you don't want to go like too extreme with revolution, because everyone wants just peaceful existence, right?
I feel like revolution is romanticized too, right? Like people think it's like, that is not fun.
No, it's not. But what revolutionary is to just think differently, right? To have a different vision to what could happen and how we can build up to that, so we can keep on going with that vision. If we all align, and there's many of us, like you saw in this election too, like people, it was up to 4%, right? And if the Democrats,
if you add it all together,
right? Because they didn't take the Kennedy off of the ballot for just like straight, which was like so, but
I mean, he didn't take much from.
He didn't, but like it would, still be more. I just felt like it was a cunning move. But anyway, that's where I feel like you just have to keep on putting these drops in the bucket, and no matter what people tell you, like, because people were telling me a lot of like things that were not nice too when I would just mention that, about a third party or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it just like the level of like verbal violence was like insane. Just like, people would just get angry and well, it's because you can't see a different future for us and our children doesn't mean that there's not going to be enough of us who will see a different future where we have a different party. We don't just have these two like corrupt systems that are essentially the same, right?
Well,
in a
and
way.
back to even both of you have daughters that are going to be of age for the next election. And I think that's also like a cool way to think about it for myself in terms of like, who can we like focus our energy on and like helping them to radicalize themselves, right? Like creating the spaces for the youth to have these discussions and to ask questions and to ask us like, why we do this or why this happened in the past. And like, so we have 4 years to touch and speak to like those young people that are going to be of age in the next election. So I think I like that, even just for myself, like what I can focus on and create space for.
Mika, it's great that you use this word radicalization, because I was listening to you and thinking, wow, when you said radicalization, all you meant, because my belief is that we educate ourselves about who's on the ballot, like what is it that they represent, what is it that they stand for, and what is it that we can do for our community, how is it that we can contribute to the dialogue, right? And so, isn't it incredible that we call this a radical position?
Right.
And why do we call it a radical position? Because nobody does that. Because it's a rarity when somebody does that, and when people do, it's considered that, wow, this is something extra on top of what is considered normal. So active citizenship, this act of holding, of kind of never giving up your agency as a human being, say as a mother, as a woman, as a citizen, or I don't know, as an immigrant, as so many things, it somehow became a radical act. An act of like, something that is not like the outside of normal, which is absurd.
Absurd, yeah.
So basically, all we need to do is we need to just stop being lazy and stop taking certain things and liberties for granted and understand that they can be taken away from us as quickly as they were given to us. Only, I don't know, how many years ago were women allowed to vote for the first time? 50? 60? Only this much, you guys. So it has not, or even been a century, allowed to vote. So now they're talking about taking away our rights to our bodies, like to make a total abortion thing. Like, would this be even was this even a topic of conversation, and was this even something that we could imagine during Obama presidency, for example? Like, I mean, don't even get me started on Obama and all of that, but I'm talking simply about our rights to our bodies, about trans rights, about the treatment of the LGBTQ community. So it's just, isn't it horrendous the way the turn of events and like the direction this everything is taking in the beacon of democracy that America likes to brag about itself.
Right, and they talk about how Muslim women how mistreated in Iran or in Saudi Arabia and all of that, and they just like have the same agenda almost to like keep on stripping these rights. But then their talking points, if you listen to them, is like, well, we don't want the Sharia law in here coming. The Muslims are coming and taking, like, it's just like, well, obviously it's all propaganda and fear that people are trying to spread. But it's just mind-boggling that people would, subscribe to that. Again, going back to the education and talking to people in real life. The online is just.
But that's what that's part of the work both of us do. Is holding space in real life.
All along, like ever since I've known Satora pleasure with you, Mecca. Just all you do, just being you. Just the
Just
moment we met,
Yeah.
you were engaging with the community in much many more ways than just a friendly neighbor. So, but just one thing, you mentioned the Muslim women, and just recently I was watching this documentary film where this filmmaker was talking about how these attempts in certain parts of the world to cover women as hijab are equally detrimental to female rights as these forced attempts to take that hijab off.
Right.
For example.
Yeah.
So the problem is not forcing the hijab on a woman or stripping her of one. The problem is that in this patriarchic world, somebody thinks that its government thinks that it's normal to make a decision for an entire gender for them in this patronizing, condescending, dehumanizing way.
Yeah. It's very true.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because I know many women who wear hijabs and they're pretty happy with wearing it. And we come from a culture where women like to wear scarves and cover their hairs, and there's certain beauty in all of these traditions and all of these cultures, but because of ignorance and agendas of these men who are trying to like play their empire games, that also becomes like a point of
it's reminding me, I literally almost got my legs broken a few weeks ago by this old man who like literally hit me with a car. And I had a headscarf on that day, and he was this old white man, and like I was walking past the car and he was like coming to a stop, and as I walked past, he revved on the yes. And it literally hit my hand like it just missed me. And then I was like, just stuck there. And there were all these people that were like, oh, we just saw that. Did he hit you? And I'm like, he hit me, but he didn't hit my legs like he could have if I was 2 seconds back. And it was just this old white man. And he was just like, did I hurt you? And I was like, and then he just drove off. And I was like, was that a hate crime? Like, I was like, did he think I was Muslim and was about to run me over? But it's like, and I've studied Islam, I'm like definitely cover my head for different reasons. But like, it was just a crazy feeling of like, did he try and hit me on purpose? And is it because my head was it was crazy, and I'm in America, right? So it's just like, I can't imagine. I don't know. I just think the whole head covering like issue, like, yeah, that should be nobody else's business. Right. And also people should just have more education about world religions and like knowing why they operate the way that they do. And instead of just like, yeah, everyone just thinking or, being in fear of like just anyone else, being in fear of like the other.
Well, it's the consumption of the information that's the problem. People used to, I would just sound like an old person, but people used to read things, right? Like we read, we understand that, the spirituality of different parts of the world, the religions. I mean, it all comes from the enlightenment of the education knowledge. But now it's like what they see, they just take as truth, what they see online. And now with this platform, with this X platform, because I was on there for a while, but then I just canceled my account because I couldn't stand the amount of stupidity, ignorance, and hate that I saw in the comments. Like, people have no idea about any other cultures, and all they're saying is go back to where you came from, or just the dumbest things, which again, like, we're in a whole different century. People just get with it.
Dora, I wanted to it's funny that you mentioned reading, and then you mentioned enlightenment, and I will sound like someone from the Gen Z generation, but recently you, I believe, shared something about enlightenment, where it said that we think of enlightenment as something pleasant and as something that is about happiness, about how to be, but where in reality it has nothing to do with happiness. It has nothing to do with discomfort or with comfort. It has to do with accepting your truth and with sitting with that truth and acting out of that truth. That is enlightenment. And I believe that the only radical thing we need right now is radical responsibility, where we not only sit in our truth and act out of our truth and make integrity something absolutely unquestionable and unshakable, but at the same time, when we're ready to communicate with an intention of understanding and not being right.
Right. Yes.
Every time we have dialogue, we already kind of have this script in our mind, like about what we're going to say, about what those people are probably going to say, how are we going to come back. We have our little agenda, which is also self-serving in a way. And so can we, before we engage with any human being in general, can we just stop, pause, and remind ourselves and say, hey, am I in this to be right? Am I in this for my ego, for me to make a little presentation? Or am I in it to understand the other human being and to create a safe space for them to also be in their truth? And so maybe after I have explored compassionately and empathetically as a fellow human being who is humaning for the first time with them, maybe it will be a little easier for me to kind of understand them really. And when I do, and when I've gained their trust, perhaps, if I'm fortunate, maybe then they will be safe enough to be open to understand me as well.
Yeah. That's that's valid. And I think that this is kind of the moment here right now where I would advise anyone to, because I was saying that yesterday. I know personally and love people who voted for Trump and Kamala and
both of them.
both of them. And my connection with these people have nothing to do with how they chose to vote. And it's not going to change. And I know people are, taking it so seriously right now based on, the human rights and the civil rights. And I understand that. But at the same time, our job is to build communities. Our job is to live in the real life. So the things that are happening all over the world can, be fixed, remedied. What's happening with several genocides. Let's be honest here. That we supporting, but at the same time, let's not bring this over here more than we have to actively work to fix what's going on there. But with that mentality, with the rhetoric that both sides have right now, oh, these people are stupid. No, these people are stupid. It's not gonna work. We want peace for our children. We want them to have safe childhoods, safe neighborhoods, safe, everything. And so how do we accomplish that? We only can accomplish it by working together in real life and by building community. That's all we can do right now. We should stop blaming each other, blaming other people for whatever happened just now. We just have to stop and get to work. Instead of blaming people, look around, see who is struggling. Why do you think people voted for Trump? I told this from the start. So many people are struggling. So now, if you have more than some other families, please do offer. Please do, step up. And when you create a community, and I think that you saw my community that we created that I connected with in Boston, in the middle of Wisconsin. I've never met most amazing people, and she is the mother of 10 kids. Who had so much on her plate, right? She not only was raising her children, going through a knee surgery. She had space to take me under her care, basically with my 3 young children, because she saw that I'm struggling with by myself, right? And so I've never met anyone so beautiful in the way of the soul, right? In terms of how much she was giving of herself to others. And and that's, again, it's like, at that point, do I care who she voted for? I know she probably voted for Trump, but do I really care? And she had her reasons too, right? She had her own reasons. So I'm not going to be going around right now and saying, oh, all these, it's just such an entitlement too, to be like, oh, the so and so is so, they're all like, these people are this way, and they have get so much judgment about their education level or whatever. But at this, yeah, but nobody sees past that, right? What do your community need? Just get outside and figure out where are you needed? What is your purpose here? How can you help? So in 4 years, we can have a healthier, outcome, and nobody's sitting and crying. Like, a lot of people I saw were crying and were upset, genuinely grieving. And again, understandable, of course. I understood what their I felt it too. I was feeling it, girl. I mean, I just also like always want to ask, how are you planning to like deport 20 million illegal immigrants? Are you just gonna go around asking?
Who's going to do the dirty jobs? Like,
Right.
I mean, that's a completely, totally different conversation.
Right.
I just wanted to tell you guys a couple of things about you, for example. Like, Mecca kind of stunned me, and I will never forget you in the conversations that we've had. I've learned so much from you about compassion. I've learned so much from you about being a woman radically. Like the way you spoke about your relationship with the opposite gender. I've never heard anyone speak of men like that in a non-utilitarian, in a non-objectifying way. We talk about objectifying women, and we have a right for that in this world of patriarchy. But the way from where you come in your story, to have this much compassion for that gender who is the cause of so many issues in this world was, to me, it was transforming. I will never forget this. But it was important that you experiment with this, and that you share your wisdom, and that you're honest enough, open enough, fearless enough to own it and to share it with other women who, a lot of them might judge you. A lot of them might judge your methods, for example, might be unaccepting of the ways that has been practiced and experimented with. And I believe that genuineness and guts and fearlessness are key in finding new solutions. We are so scared of each other. We are so scared of owning who we are, and of sharing that with a fellow human being, because we do not feel safe in their company. Or you, Sitora, with you totally, completely changing your life, changing your lifestyle, and like making completely different choices, inconvenient choices for yourself and for your family sometimes, just because once you realize something, you could never go back to the old ways, of be that consumption, or be that relating to people, or many other ways. Not a lot of people are capable of such changes, and that's responsibility. And then another thing that I wanted to mention, so thank you so much for building a safe community of women. Yeah, because we can keep talking about institutions, about things to be done on a larger level, but right here, what's happening right here, you showing up with a baby. I know you have 2 kids. I know you have
4.
Yeah, I've got 3
I
now.
have 4.
I at this point, for now, I remember.
Yeah.
But you guys, for you to find time to casually show up and to casually create a safe space for your community to kind of share apparently, without romanticizing that, any particular country, apparently, so on big corporate parking lots, there is an unspoken rule, like that people who arrive first, like earlier in the morning, that they park the farthest, so that the people who are late for work are able to take up the parking spots which are closer to the building.
Yeah.
So obviously it's an honor system, right?
Yes.
Right.
And obviously it's something where you need to do the right thing even when nobody's watching.
Right.
And when you need to remember why you're doing this.
Mhm.
You're doing this so that when you need that parking spot closer to the window,
Right. You have that.
you get it too. That you're committed.
That's actually a really beautiful allegory for this situation.
Right? So let's build a world like that where we can park farther so that those who need it more can park last minute next to the building and not suffer and not struggle, because we're somehow more privileged in that situation.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you said earlier. So
yeah, people should use whatever emotion they're experiencing now, whether it's anger, whatever, happiness, whatever it is, to actually take that and bring it to their community, but like in a productive way.
Right.
So like if you got angry with the outcomes, get outside and look around and see what's happening outside of your screen. You know, are you needed somewhere? It's very simple, right? We have so much to, we have cities to build, literally, and cities of new kind.
Yes. And I'm just thinking of,
guys, to begin with, just to say, it can overwhelm people to think like that in many ways, because but where do I begin? Like, what do I do? Oh, I don't have time for this. I'm this, I'm that. Like, to understand that this is the office, like this is the headquarters for everything. For future, this right here is where the work begins.
Yeah.
Right. And that's part of the artwork that I've been, I created and I'm sharing. So Sade for President, right? It means self-awareness and devotional embodiment. So it's like every day we can each practice in our sovereignty, because it doesn't happen overnight. And just like a revolution can be scary, so can the idea of like sovereignty when we live in a world and in a system where they try and tell you that that's not possible to actually be sovereign in a country that, has, just a crazy military complex, or, the prison system or whatever. Like, you can be sovereign even if you're in prison. You can be sovereign even if you're a child. Like, you can be, it's like a practice, it's a way of life. And if we all take that responsibility, like you're saying, and just literally work on ourselves and then show up every single day, to me, that's devotion, and that's like, that'll get us further than if we just all are like freak out and then don't do anything with that energy.
Well, I mean, we can all cry today. And
I'm not crying.
Well, neither do I. I was laughing. But
and we need faith, and we need to turn this process into a seva, into a sadhana, into a devotion, where devotion is every day.
Right.
Like, what is it that you believe in? Like, what is it that you believe in? If you believe in something strongly, we need to worship that on a daily basis. Like, it's not like once a week to twice a week kind of membership, it's something that you do every day. In my practice as a yoga counselor, like, the first thing that I start to work on with people is for them to treat their inner world as a temple. And I ask them, have you attended your temple today? Did you bring flowers to your temple today?
Right.
And because when you bring flowers to a temple, you already come with a little bowl, and you come with the intention to be the best version of yourself. Already, automatically, you're bringing something alive and beautiful. And so, if you're bringing something to something divine, it means that you already accept and consider it as something sacred. And so we just need to get faith, and we just need to keep bringing a flower a day to our own inner temple, and then maybe, who knows, maybe with time we will get enough temples and enough flowers to live in gardens and and I don't know.
I think people are definitely moving in the right direction, just based on how many, because I connect and meet people everywhere, and I just go into their homes and eat their food and do the thing. And so I just noticed that common pull towards creating sovereignty in terms of like growing the food, growing communities, growing
natural family planning.
Yeah, exactly.
Like-
like all these things. It's not just us here or you in San Diego or in some people in California. No, it's actually a movement, and the movement just needs to get organized a little better and connected for it to actually get even more results, manifest into the next
Whatever's next.
whatever is next for us. So yeah, but I think we're gonna start wrapping up because I have to go get my kids. Other kids.
One last thing, if
Yes.
I may, it just popped in my brain.
Mhm.
Last time when Trump was elected, it was, I still used to live in Portland back then. I remember one thing. I noticed people watching out for me, looking out for me,
Yeah.
because I obviously look and sound like an immigrant, like a foreigner.
Yeah.
I noticed that people started kind of going out of their way to do nice things. Like, it was surprising. I didn't expect it. I expected the opposite. And then suddenly, I remember one time I was driving from Washington State, and we in Oregon, we don't know how to put gas into our own cars. We're not allowed to.
Mhm.
And so you're supposed to, I didn't know how to do it. And so in the middle of the night, and I remember this woman coming, being super patient with me, like showing me how to do this, like making sure that I do it. And so many other instances where I could see that it's an intentional act of trying to be of help, like showing up and saying, I've got you.
Yeah.
Like, whatever may have happened and whatever that represents for you, we've got you.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we need to do at the end of the day for each other, to have our backs.
Right. And that's what I was saying, like, don't get for people who are worried about the outcome of the election, and I would say there are good people, there are more good people here. And those people will not allow things to go too far. So that's kind of my hope and my own faith and belief in American people. So let me see.
Amen to that.
Right. Yes.
It's so nice talking to you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, thank you. I was so happy to see you today too. It's a treat. All right, love you. Bye. Okay, so I don't know if
I don't know what
Tiara. Let's see, Tiara, are you gonna join us?
Or Z. I don't
Yeah.
know if either one of them.
I don't know, Tiara.
We
or
got a few more
Zachariah.
minutes, y'all.
Yes, before we need to get going, but that was good. I think that's all we can do really right now is to start organizing together. And
There she is.
well,
Hey, Mama.
Hey, Mama.
Hey, love.
How are you?
I'm tired. I just came up these stairs. I'm like,
How are you today? You're getting closer.
I looked at my nose. I was like, wow, my nose is getting wider.
Oh my goodness. How do you get rid of this thing? I just
No, it's
oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. So how are you doing? How are you feeling? Other than, the stairs, the nose, and the belly.
Yeah, it was interesting today. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. You know, I woke up today like I do every day. But it was interesting to, wake up and people were like, "Are you okay? How are you feeling?" I was like, I didn't connect that. I was like, oh, I'm okay. You know, like I woke up today, I feel good. Yeah, and I was happy to wake up and see your podcast that you had shared. I didn't see it yesterday, but
okay.
it was beautiful. I saw it at like 5 a.m. or something.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
Oh, yes, you're gonna come on the next one
Mhm.
next week. I'm
Yes.
if you'll be feeling up to it.
What are you calling it?
The Vision Quest for Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
And we've
I
been
have a lot of people.
working on it for a long time.
Yes. It's
And
been
so I was just the
in the
first
works.
guest, and we kind of just were like, it's election time. Like, let's do the first episode.
Yes, it
So-
just felt right to start speaking. But you, I feel like out of a lot of people I know, you have a pretty strong vision too for your own family, for your kids. So what would be your grounding suggestion? And I think that's kind of what this session really is.
Mhm.
And it was funny because I thought about your zine that you made, like a self-care post-election self-care zine. So if you guys want post-election self-care,
Yeah, we'll be sharing that too.
she's gonna be sharing it. Yeah. So how, like, what would be your suggestion, or just like the grounding advice for people at this time?
Yeah, I feel like our foundation begins with our family. So yeah, I think that our foundation begins with our family. And I'm building that in strength and building that with our values, our principles, our morals. I think that for me has always been my grounding force throughout every change. And as Mecca said earlier, like, I think I voted maybe once. Maybe it was when Obama.
Yep.
You know, like
The first time you could vote, you were like, I'm in this.
I had like tears and was like, but for me, yeah, it's been interesting to even like share with anybody. People have been asking me more than ever, like this time, like, are you voting? Are you voting? And I was like, no, I didn't plan to, but if I do, it's not going to be, for these two sides. And then they're like, you shouldn't even vote. You shouldn't even. I'm like, oh.
It's like that.
It's like that. I'm like, oh, so it's not really about like our rights and freedom, right? Because even now, like, yeah, it's just been interesting. And I like to stay quiet. I like to stay quiet and observe.
Yeah.
And like, so it's beautiful for you to speak up and just like share arts. But yeah, my grounding force is that we, like, all us three women on this screen have all been with each other through different trials and tribulations of life. And like, whenever it gets to a point of breaking, like, we always come back to each other and support each other. And we always know that our children have us and have, like, you two are women that I know to take care of me and my children. And I would do the same for you. So,
Yeah, all of our children call all of us mama.
Right. Yeah.
and my children be like, oh, mama, did you see mama? Satora, mama? I'm like, yep. That's what it is. And so for me, like, family, foundation, and like, choosing, and it's okay to like feel fear.
Yeah.
And to know that in our fear is where we find like the fuel, like the heart fire, right?
Yeah.
That like, okay, the fire is still burning, and I still have the same passion that I always had for my children, for my family, and my loved ones, and that's never gonna diminish.
Yeah.
No matter what other people believe to be the way. I have my way, I have my path, and my journey is to like guide myself on that righteous path as the Most High, whatever divine forces
allow me to.
You've been on that sovereign journey, girl.
Yes.
Literally.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so like even I don't like to put things out, but I'm like with my co-parents, I'm like, so we should just homeschool, like
Right.
we've literally always, since I conceived my children, I was like, we should be homeschooling. We should be focused on family-centered life because that is what really protects us from any institutions of exploitation.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
that's how
Like the family court system. Because one of my co-parents just hopped on this live because he's been stalking me, and I'm not afraid to say that. He probably logged off already, but hey.
Oh, that's why you made that face.
Yeah, girl.
Well, okay, real quick, because I have to drive to get my kids from the daycare, but yeah. So do you have like, so I feel like a lot of women who are, on maybe a different kind of journey, might feel anxiety right now about abortion and all the, the women rights. And knowing you, Tiara, it's like, yeah, you're on a whole different level. Like, would you have anything to like tell them, or how, I mean, just in terms of like the anxiety or that part of sovereign existence?
I feel like
Or as a birth worker too.
yeah, so like I'm on the traditional midlife path. I've been on this path since like I birthed my first son 14 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like getting deeper and deeper, and that's a lifelong journey. And so for me, I feel like when any threat to our sovereignty or like having ownership or consent over our bodies arises, it just gives us more opportunity to dive deeper into understanding ourselves and to understanding our behaviors and to understanding how our body works, how it functions, how we can protect it and keep it sacred and out of the hands of others.
Right.
And I think because we live in a society where it's like easy to give power away.
Yes.
So we go to people to save us, to be like, I need you to tell me what to do. I need you to save me. But like this opportunity that arises is for us to become more connected to our intuitive self and to become more connected to whatever powers that may be, whatever we feel like guides us and leads us towards what we should want for ourselves. And I think we all want to feel like we have freedom, we have choice. And so like for me, I feel like the restoration, the redemption, it lies in the hands, it rests in the hands of the mothers who are raising the children.
Right.
And who are going to like instill this wisdom. Because yeah, we shouldn't be raising more children to not know about their bodies.
Right.
To not know if they have the rights over their bodies, no matter what outside governing force may come to us and like press against our walls, or our boundaries, whatever it can be. So yeah, I think this is an important time to, and I think we've all been talking about this too, like we all are medicine women in these different ways. And so that's my purpose in this path, is to like share these ways of believing in ourselves, believing in our bodies, believing in our ability to band together and to be to become the council, to become the one
that grandmother council.
Exactly, to be the ones we call on.
Right.
You know?
Will be some young looking, nice looking grandma.
Right. It's just gonna be me, but 30 years later,
Right.
just like you.
Yeah, but I think it's just again following love instead of fear when it comes to those things and little things, and educating yourself as much as you can and getting in touch with your own body. Like I said, we just gave that power, well, not maybe voluntarily at first, but like people are still going power away in the first place in terms of birth and like all the interventions and all these things. We all had birthed our children at home with the last, and it's not for everyone.
Well, we've all had hospital births and we've all had
home births. Yes. So we know that we shouldn't have given that power away in the first place.
We have to hold
So
ourselves accountable to that, right?
right,
Because we can blame other people and we can point the finger.
right,
We're also allowed, like we're literally asking for certain, you know, like
yes,
please somebody tell me how to do this, or like I can't do it myself, or we can't. Like I keep hearing people say like there's no way that a third party could ever win, you know, like or
yes,
that's ever possible. And I'm like, yo, you literally keep. Do y'all know that the words you speak?
Yes.
That's a spell. Like that's your
the vision,
you know, like
right,
so.
yeah,
No, I won't. I refuse to say that. I refuse to believe that. And it's like I've seen all the people in my life create a beautiful experience through like what they speak and what they believe and what they write and what they dream
yes,
and what we weave together. So yeah, and forever, the power always rests with the people.
Yes, Ashe.
Ashe, amen, amen.
Yeah,
All
we
of it.
should end it right there
Right.
because we both gotta go get
Yes,
these
we
children.
gotta go get our children, but we're sending so much love
We
to your
love you,
Mama
Mama.
T, and I hope you're gonna come see me and us soon, anytime. Like I'm gonna be home tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. So anyway, I'll tell bye.
We'll get it together.
We're getting together. I love you guys. Whoever is feeling anxious or fear is with fear. I hope that it's gonna pass soon, and that you're just gonna get to work and
And you can choose, despair is to be without hope and prosperity is to be with hope. So you can make that choice even if you feel afraid.
yes, choose
Be okay.
prosperity. All right, love.
All right, darlings. Love
See you guys. Bye. All right.
You didn't even get all of our full face.
Of here.
Yeah.
Well, I was also thinking because